Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started this morning. Welcome to the Warren County Board of Supervisors regular meeting. Today's date is Wednesday, November 8th, 2023. It's 9:30 a.m. and we're in the Warren County Boardroom. Will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have one deletion. Item number 8 on our agenda that was published will be removed, and the redistricting presentation will happen in a special meeting scheduled at 11:30 today. And the reason for that is because we just didn't get this on our agenda in time, so we wanted to make sure that we were following the law and notifying the public in the proper manner, so that was the purpose of the change. The first item on our agenda is the consent agenda.
I would move the consent agenda as prepared, items A through L.
I have A through E, sorry.
You have what?
I have A through E.
Oh,
On the back page.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, there's a lot of information here, so.
I second.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Can we get a roll call, please?
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
aye.
Peters.
Aye. So the consent agenda is approved. Item number 2 are the claims.
Thank you.
Any questions on the claims?
No, I would move approval of the claims as presented.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peters.
Aye. The claims are approved. Next item on our agenda, we are to consider the request to replace the metal detector at the Justice Center with possible action. And this is an item, Lieutenant Burrows, could you please come forward and if there are any questions, but we had discussed this in our last work session, the issues with the current metal detector and the recommendation from the Sheriff's Department on a resolution. So I don't know if you just want to give a little summary on what you want to do. And
We did try to work with the current metal detector that we've had. We tried some options to fix that. They weren't successful. We still had some issues with it acting up. It's not very cost effective to have someone come up from Texas to service that, and we couldn't find a local company to do that for us. So I think it's best to go with something that's proven in the past. If we go with the new SIA metal detector, the cost is very minimal considering what we paid for the original. This is including install, which is the quote I gave you in that other work session. I think I'd like to get it approved today simply because it's a 4 to 6 week lead time to get that here. But once it's here, install is all included in that, so.
Do we have a copy of?
No, I don't see a
I
copy.
don't have anything in here in my
No,
materials, so.
we got it in our work
I don't know what it is
session.
we're trying to approve here today.
Yeah, we gave, it was in the work session when we had last time, that's what I provided. I just
But
don't,
it's not in our packet for today.
I've got a copy of it here if you'd like it.
Yeah, we'll need to have Michaela go make copies
Sure.
of that, because I don't have it.
I
in
don't
mine.
need
The
a
only
copy,
thing that you'll
McKinney.
see different in that is, obviously, we don't pay tax as a county entity, so that will be excluded.
What is the total amount that you're looking for?
It's like $4,550.
Under $5,000,
Yeah,
right?
it is under $5,000, correct.
Okay, but I think it's still important to kind of understand the proposal and terms around the
Absolutely.
proposal. Is there, while we're getting those, is there any, have you found a home or what you're going to do with the old equipment? I mean,
That I
is it
have
just a
not yet.
scrap? Is it a scrap situation or?
It's an oddity because you don't see a lot of those around here, a ZK Teco model metal detector. You typically see your SIA or your Garrett metal detectors. I don't know who I'm going to get to take that But we'll try and figure something out for it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
How long will the installation take?
just a few days. I think they'll be up here, get it done, but that's included in the purchase price.
Does
or
that
on that
include the
quote.
removal of the other one?
It does not. Miller Electric will have to remove the other one. They can cap the flooring. It's not going to be overly expensive. I just haven't got the official quote back from Jamie Morowski yet.
Okay, good. Is there something else that you want to talk, do you want to talk about the vehicle while we're waiting, or do you want to?
If I could, yeah.
Okay.
So what we're looking for is we're trying to purchase a transport van for the jail. This would come from commissary funds. The biggest part of this is that it's no cost to the taxpayer. By doing this, it's a capital asset. We'd like to, there's a process to it, according to state auditor. We've got to take the funds from the commissary account, pay it to the treasurer in the full amount, and then the board, we've talked to Megan Miner about line iteming that out of the general fund to pay for the capital asset, because it is a capital asset, so anytime we purchase a vehicle.
And why do you need a transport van? I mean, I'm sure you do. I'm just, so the public understands and the board understands why, I mean, how did you get by without this before and now you want, or you need one?
We currently have two transport vans. One is an overly sized, large ProMaster van, and the other one's a smaller version. The larger one has got a lot of miles. They've got up there quite a bit because when we did not have a jail, we were transporting to and from Jasper, Marion, and Clark counties, housing inmates. Those vans are due to be replaced. We don't need the large one like that anymore, but we prefer to have one that's smaller, and I prefer to have all-wheel drive for the winter months here in Iowa because the staff will be driving that. This makes it easier for us to get to and from the University of Iowa for dental issues that we have within the jail, any medical issues we have for the inmates. It's a little bit more comfortable to ride in for the inmates that aren't problem childs, so to speak. So that's why we decided to purchase this. The downside is the market for cars and the used car market is extremely, it's a mess right now. So finding a van, that was a problem. I finally found one that fit our criteria. Again, the all-wheel drive's, I think, a necessity. I've talked to Dallas County about the same thing, and they went with all-wheel drive too for the winters here. The van is reasonably priced. I've got the upfit already figured out. So what I'm going to end up spending roughly is about $51,227.60, and that's a brand-new van. Obviously, it comes with a warranty too, which is nice.
Can I have the number again?
$51,227.60, and that includes the upfit of that van. In other words, the installation of partitions, the mobile radios for the van, and barring the windows on the slider doors. Vans are obviously the way to go for this because of the ease of putting the inmate in and out of the van while they're in chains. And we're going to be keeping our smaller transport van for, again, the problem childs, because it has a metal insert.
Okay, and so,
Not to interrupt again, Darren, but this was approved through the state auditor. That was one thing we had to make sure that the state auditor agreed with the purchase. And based on everything they've provided us, they said that is fine. It's for the benefit of the inmates, so.
okay. That was my next question, kind of how the money flows.
I do have a copy of that email back and forth with the state auditor, if you'd like to see that.
I don't need to see it
Okay.
unless the board would like to.
Thank you.
That for item 4.
Okay, so we do have a copy of your metal detector here now, okay? So the total amount, it looks like, is $4,550 and some odd cents. I
10
can't-
cents,
10 cents?
correct.
Okay.
Okay. I make the motion to approve the request to replace the metal detector at the Justice Center for $4,550.10.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, a second roll call.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye. Okay, so the purchase of the new metal detector is approved, and the discussion around the transport van, I think, I don't have any questions. I don't know if it would behoove, like Megan Miner, to confirm that everything is, like the money's going to flow properly and we're going to be in accordance with the law, and it's going to come out of the commissary fund, and that doesn't impact the general fund or the general supplemental or any kind of taxpayer-associated funding mechanism. So
That's correct.
So I don't see an issue with this, but Megan, are you,
Eric and I talked, so it would just be them issuing a check to be received into the general fund, and then we would pay for it out of the general fund. So it would end up being a wash. Well, it'll be on the budget amendment, but the two amounts will wash each other out.
And what is does the county or the sheriff's department have a policy around the use of commissary funds? Or can you guys just go out and spend this money on, you know, a
The
new-
commissary fund is very specific. It must be used for the benefit of the inmate, and there are only certain avenues that you can use that money for. A lot of it is for resale, so we buy snacks and stuff like that for the inmates. They purchase it. There's a small amount of profit made on that, and that is used to purchase things for the inmate, i.e. we've bought games, boards,
Okay,
or anything for the jail that benefits the inmate. And the transport van, because of, we have to get them to and from, is part of that.
Okay.
Per the state auditor. And again, it alleviates the taxpayer having to pay for it.
Could you clarify again for me how this funding mechanism works again? Just explain it again one more time. Sorry.
Okay, so we have a commissary account that is separate from the general fund, right? This is managed by the sheriff's office. What happens is, we have a phone account that runs into that. The inmates are allowed to use the phone. There's profit margin made on that. We have a 5-year agreement with Reliance Phone Company. That goes into that account as well as the commissary. So anything they order, snack packs, food items, hygiene items, there's a small profit margin made on that. That goes into the commissary account and it just builds. That money can only be used for specific purchases to better the life of the inmate while he's in custody or she's in custody.
And so then there's enough money there to actually purchase this van that you're asking us to consider?
Yes, sir. My current balance today was $84,061.30.
Okay.
And that's in a year's time. So we use this to buy like pillows for the jail, things like that. Those are items that we can purchase because it betters the life of the inmate.
So are we, is this a formal motion?
let's see.
You're needing
I'm
to-
looking for, yeah, this has possible action on it, so we would be looking for a motion to approve the purchase of this transport van in the amount that was.
The reason I'm asking for that is because, again, the market for cars is hard to find cars, and I've got one.
What is the exact amount you're asking for?
The car itself is $44,490, and then the upfit,
You gave us number 51,000.
I know, that is the upfit of the vehicle because we have to
upfit.
put
So the
partitions in
total-
it.
Yeah, give us a total.
The total is $51,227.60. Based on our
One more time, please.
$51,227.60.
And if the board needs more time to think about this or research it, of course, we have that option available to us as well.
Sure.
So it's not like.
My big thing is I wanted to get the van purchased on the purchase agreement, which I'm working out with Deary Brothers,
Okay.
currently in Waukee. And then Stivers does our quoted estimate upfit of the vehicle, which puts the partitions in behind the driver and passenger seat and in the rear, basically boxes it in for the inmate transport. That installs our radios, the lights, and everything we need in the vehicle. It's a minor upfit compared to a squad car,
Yeah, definitely.
but it still needs to be done.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns or
I don't have any at all.
Okay.
entertain a motion? Or I'll make a motion, unless, okay, I'll make a motion to allocate $51,227.60 of the commissary funds to be moved into the general fund and then out of the general fund
For what purpose?
for the purpose of to
Purchase a van.
purchase the transport van. Yep,
Correct.
I guess that's.
Okay, I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got to put the purpose in there. Okay, thank you, Lieutenant Burrows. Okay, the van is approved, and we'll move on to consider the National Injury Prevention Day proclamation with possible action. Joelle, you're going to do this for us? All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So So November 18th is National Injury Prevention Day. The Injury Free Coalition for Kids and partners across the state of Iowa are moving with efforts to stop injury and violence against the state, across the state of Iowa. Whereas currently injuries and violence resulted in an annual average of 2,200 deaths, 14,000 hospitalizations, and 387,000 emergency department visits in the state of Iowa. And in Iowa, the three leading causes of unintentional injury deaths in 2022 were falls, motor vehicle crashes, and also unintentional poisonings, including substance abuse or overdose. So I am requesting from the Board of Supervisors, in collaboration with other agencies across the state, the University of Iowa, the Iowa Research Center, the Department of Health and Human Services, for you to consider a proclamation for National Injury Prevention Day here in Warren County on November 18th, and to request that we light up the courthouse in green to represent National Injury Prevention Day. And I actually brought you some buttons to wear too, if you so decide to approve this request.
Oh, excellent.
Absolutely.
Great.
So,
Yes.
any questions for me?
Do you need us to make this testimony?
I do.
Okay.
Yep, to make a motion to approve the proclamation for Warren County.
Okay.
Do you want a motion?
Yes, please, and could you read this?
I would,
Read this testimony here on the back.
okay. In testimony whereof we here sign, inscribed the names and cause the Great Seal of the State of Iowa to be fixed, done at Warren County, Iowa, this 8th day of November in the year of our Lord 2023. I move that we approve this resolution as presented and witnessed hereof.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye. So the National Injury Prevention Day has been established.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you, Joelle. Next item on our agenda is to consider the request for funds for cost assessment on the administration building remodel with possible action.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jamie.
So the Facilities Committee has been meeting every week. We did a Zoom call with SVPA, who is the design, last week. And they are able to get their drawings. We're able to get Tomatich's, who is the structural information, get his information, and also the mechanical partner, get their information by November 15th. The ask today is those reports then need to go to someone who will then tell us what the cost is for the estimate. And we've already selected a company to do that. It's $3,500 for that portion, and they should have those numbers to us by December 1st so that then we can discuss at the first meeting in December.
I would move that we allocate the funds as requested for the cost assessment on the admin remodel as presented for $3,500.
Could I get some clarification? What's the name of the company that we have doing the cost assessment?
You know, it's in my notes at my desk.
They were referred to, did Tom Letich?
No, it was Steve.
Steve Gray?
So
Steve Gray,
Steve
yeah,
Gray
sorry.
recommended
Yes.
this company.
Huh? No, he's the architect. It's in my notes. I just talked to him yesterday. They had two companies that they work with closely. The first company wasn't able to get anything to us until next year sometime. They're so far out. This company was able to do it sooner and get us those numbers, and it is a long-standing company. They've been in business for years and years and years. So Steve was very comfortable with going with this company, and I will, as soon as I get back to my desk, I'll send you the name of that company. And I specifically wrote it down so that I could put it on my notes, and I'm sorry I didn't do that.
It's all right, all right. Well, I will second on Steve Gray's recommendation.
Thank you.
And
And I have this coming out of the capital project, same as the funds that we used for
Yep.
the other. Okay, perfect.
do you think does this get us, like this $3,500 then gets us to the point where we know
We have an
The
estimated
total.
cost, yes,
the total cost?
yes.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second, and we would like the name, the name of the company when you get it to us. We'd appreciate that. And can we get roll call, please?
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye. So the $3,500 is approved to get us to the final cost estimate. Thank you, Jamie. Item number 7 is a discussion regarding property usage of Justice Center grounds. And I don't know if you want to.
It's a joint discussion with the sheriff's office and with the facilities committee. So we had, originally, the board, when we opened the building, had set up the form so that it was only grounds being used. We did do a few extra things, I think, just to kind of let people come in and see the building last year. We did the big Home for the Holidays celebration, and over the course of this last year and talking with Joe and Eric and through other events that people have come and asked, we've kind of gotten away from what the original plan was for using that building. Originally, it was only grounds, and we've kind of strayed from that. I forgot. Michaela was kind enough to point out that the original plan was only grounds. I know Joe came in and talked about some concerns that he had with the board, and you guys had kind of said, we agree 100%. So
I would make the same argument that she has. If we're just opening the building for what it's been open for, I think it becomes a huge security risk for the building, so.
So what we thought in talking with Joe and Eric and the facilities committee is that the board should formally, I did present to the Indianola merchants for the Home for the Holidays, and at first they were understandably upset, but then after I shared that, there were some concerns and I had come up with some alternatives, they're completely fine with the alternatives. So it's not that, we're throwing our hands up and saying, you guys figure it out. Like, we have other ideas to make sure that we're still a part of it, and it's outside. Joel has been gracious enough to let us borrow the tents, and so we're still working with that, but just letting everyone know and making it formal now that we just can't open the building. It's just not a safe.
Yeah, and this wasn't popular when we were discussing this. The community had pushed back, the city of Indianola and some of the other entities involved, leadership in the community. This was unpopular, but once, when people were open-minded to come in and sit down and talk with us about why we were doing what we were doing, it was obvious. I don't think there's a question here. I really just don't want to be involved when, our chief safety officers in our community and our sheriff and our lieutenants are coming and saying, hey, we might have some safety issues. I think we absolutely 100% need to err on the side of safety on these circumstances. And then try to be a good neighbor and try to, extend ourselves to the public in a way that, everybody is comfortable and happy. But right now, I think it's time to focus on safety. Let safety come first, and then let's try to figure out how to be a good neighbor and really reach out. And Jamie, I want to compliment you because you've made this pretty easy, because, people are saying to me, like, if Jamie can help us figure out how to do this outside, we're very good with that. Because we have Jamie, and she's a problem solver, and she can make a plan B work really well. People have confidence in that, and that's really helped with this, with this pushback that we're getting, that people are saying, well, if Jamie will help us do this, then I'm pretty good with it. And Jamie's been nothing but stepping up and helping everybody every chance she gets, so
I'll
thank
pay
you for
later.
that. What's that?
I'll pay you later for this.
No, it's just the reality, when you have good, strong leadership and you got a good problem resolver, and we have a lot of those here at Warren County. Jamie's not the only one, but when we step up like that as a county and our people step up and are willing to go the extra mile, it makes our jobs a little easier. So just, thank you for that. And thank you, Lieutenant Burrows, for everything you're doing for Warren County as well. So, all right.
You need what?
I said, he's right.
Oh.
Yeah, it does help, So anyway, so we have that discussion. I don't know what the next step is, if there's a resolution coming forward for a use policy, or is it already in place and we just move on with our current policy?
I think the original, if we go back to the original with it just being the grounds, I think that it's okay. I just wanted to make sure that it was discussed in a public forum so that everybody could hear the board instead of it sounding like it's Jamie's rule or it's Doug's rule because we're in the building. It's not.
Yeah.
It's,
And understandably, we've got cameras. We can see
Yeah.
the grounds.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Okay.
It looks like, based upon the title we've got on this particular item, it says restate the use of the Justice Center for events. So I think that we're just reaffirming the current policy,
Yeah.
Correct.
as
Exactly.
I understand it,
Yep.
unless we've changed things.
No, I mean, based on what Kayla's input was that, hey, our policy is our policy, and it's really, we just haven't been adhering to our policy, but now we need to adhere to our policy. I think that,
And hopefully you can help remind people why.
right.
It's not just because we want to, it's for the whim.
Yeah.
This is for important reasons, so.
Okay, well, we appreciate the discussion. We'll move on. The next item number 8, has been removed, and will be discussed in a special meeting at 11:30. Item number 9 is a presentation of a photo contest with submissions and selection of winners with possible action.
So I had a lot of people submit pictures. At
Yay.
first, I was a little nervous, but then they started coming, and people were getting excited about it. At your request, let me go grab my other sheet.
Here's your slide.
I don't know if you want to move forward or if you want to. Okay, let me grab my other. So at your request, I had my intern help me. She did a power slide or a PowerPoint for us, and we just numbered them. Each photographer has their own number so that you don't know who submitted.
Okay.
And I think if you look at I don't know if you guys get a copy for the request for the agenda. So submissions were received for Indianola, Norwalk, Lacona, St. Charles, Milo, and St. Mary's. I did not receive any submissions for Ackworth, Bevington, Carlisle, Hartford, Martinsdale, Sandyville, or Spring Hill. So we'll figure something else out for there. So, and some of them have multiple slides. So good luck deciding is what I have to say.
I love the grain bin in that one. Wow.
Okay, so what are we wanting
So
to
I think
get?
what we'll do is, if it's okay with you, like, we'll go through them first, and then, did you do pack, so they have the picture? Okay.
Yeah.
So then, if you want to mark on your paper copies, the ones that maybe you like, and then we can.
Just remind us again how these are going to be used.
So what we're going to do is out here in the entryway, we're going to do a big print of the Warren County logo. And then if you're familiar with the website at all, our front page at the bottom has individual little tabs where they have photos. So we're going to drop the photos there. And then we're also going to frame larger copies of that photo and put out here in the hallway. For the ones that we didn't receive, maybe we can do another round later for just those specific locations. And then all but one person, so once their photo's selected, then we'll just put a little plaque on their frame saying who took the photo and what it's of. And there's only one person who asked not to have their name used, so it would just be the location of the photo. And
Okay.
Anonymous.
yes.
Okay. So you want us to select this or
Yep.
today?
If you could.
So you want us to choose the best number 1, the best number 2, the best number 3?
So it's the best location, so we need to pick one for Indianola, one for Norwalk, one for Lacona, one for St. Charles, one for Milo, and one for St. Mary's.
Okay, so number 2 has Norwalk, St. Charles. Okay, 2, it has Norwalk and St. Charles. Are we supposed to select just one from each of those towns?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever your
But you've got
favorite photo
multiple
is.
pages, which
Yeah.
have-
I think there's 17.
Oh, Lacona had a ton that they.
Oh, yeah, in Norwalk.
Oh, in Inola.
They are all
Yeah,
over.
there were 17 different photographers.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can make a
Decision today?
a choice today.
Okay,
I need to look at this a little bit.
okay.
I think I ought to do justice to all the time and effort that people took to submit. I need to be respectful of that. And I think you need a little bit more time
Okay.
than just here in a meeting.
Okay.
When do you need a decision by, Jamie?
Maybe at the next work session, when is that? Or the next meeting is the 22nd, 21st? I'm gone that day. But if you want to,
Do we need is this a formal decision or is this just, we pick something in a work session and we go with that? Or you don't need a resolution or anything?
No.
You just want
No.
to know the board?
yeah.
Okay.
I just think it would be nice to do it in a public meeting so that if somebody wants to hop on and watch the recording and see that their photo was selected, or, they can
Oh.
have
okay.
bragging rights.
Yes.
I can't recall, are we meeting next week for work session?
I believe we have it on the calendar. Do we have any topics on that, Michaela?
There's also a special meeting, so maybe we must.
I'm just doing this for you guys.
Yep.
So we can't see an election on the 14th.
So you could add it to the special.
Yeah.
These are amazing.
There's a few of these pictures that are incredible, I think.
I don't see why we couldn't just maybe use that 14th as our comeback time.
I think so,
I
yeah.
just need to.
I like
I
that.
feel like I need to be respectful.
There's so many
Oh,
beautiful
submissions
pictures
here,
here. that you
There
couldn't-
are.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to
Wow.
select what the best one is.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, so let's, we'll reconvene on the we'll give the board some time to digest this
Okay.
and make their selections, and then we'll meet on the 14th and
14th?
give you the feedback.
Okay, so I'll just shoot all of the photographers an email and say they'll be selected on the,
But just so I understand, you want to select the best picture from each town?
from each town, yes, of the ones, if you get, did they get the copy of the agenda request? Okay, so if you go through that agenda request, it tells you the list of towns that we got submissions from, and it needs to be your choice from, maybe do your top 2, so that in case,
Well, what if we, like,
what if you all
We're gonna come up
clash?
with 6 photos of each community.
and then
basically.
we make Lene decide.
Then it'll be up to, whoever's at the meeting will do it by a round of applause.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. All right, well, you won't be there on the 14th.
I'll be here on the 14th. I won't be here the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds
All
good.
right.
Okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Jamie.
Thank you. Good luck making your choice.
Wow, that's going to be hard.
Okay. The next item is to receive and file reports from Veterans Affairs, the Humane Society, and the Recorder. The Recorder had emailed saying that she's going to be out of the office today, so I know she won't be here to give us an update. Don't anticipate any other updates.
Oh, I do want to make a point. You know, we had brought out that on these reports, we wanted more than just financial numbers. And I want to compliment the ones that have submitted here today, because they do tell us a little bit more than just financial numbers. They tell us number of client serves or things created or recorded or whatever. So I want to thank the folks for submitting reports that are a little bit more than just financial numbers.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just curious, did either of you see anything in the Keokota report that stood out? Wasn't that what we're looking at here? With the dogs and cats? Am I looking at the wrong thing?
Nothing that really stood out. I think we've been a little bit behind schedule with Kyakota. Like, it's important to go back under, we don't really have a existing contract with Kyakota. We kind of worked on that last year and we did not get anything done. And it's okay, they're still providing services and we're still paying, but it's under an old contract.
An old
So
one.
there's
That's kind of
no,
why I bring it up.
From the 90s.
Discuss this a
Yeah.
little bit.
Okay.
yeah, and so there's some work that needs to be done. There's been discussions. I think our attorney's office at Warren County was working on a contract. I don't know what happened to that. I haven't followed up on that in a couple months, so I could put that on my list of things to do. Like, I think we need to have a really detailed conversation with Kyakota on, because they have facility issues and they have personnel, like they can't get enough people to work there. I think we need to step up in a little, maybe a bigger way at some point. So we need to have that discussion and get under contract with them.
I agree.
Okay. That's one thing with Kyakota.
I would move acceptance of the reports as presented by the Veterans Commission, Kyakota, and the Recorder's Office.
Second.
Roll call?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is approved. The supervisor's report, I'll go ahead and just kick off this portion of our meeting. I've been so positive lately, like the last couple of weeks, about what's going on here at Warren County. I've spent quite a bit of my time looking at working on dispatch and working on facilities. Those are primarily the two components that I've dove into. There's multiple meetings that are held. I know the supervisors know this, but the public needs to know. There's been a lot of pretty detailed meetings with our cities. I really, really like what's going on with the relationship between the county and the cities right now. I see a lot of collaboration around services and around facilities. Really good dialogue. I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day and I was like, I don't think there's anybody from the city that, somebody from the county can't pick up, from Indianola and from Norwalk and from Carlisle, that we just can't pick up the phone and talk to the fire chief or the police chief, or we have a really solid relationship right now. And I think we're seeing some we have common goals. And I'm really, really excited about this new realignment for some reason. And I wasn't anticipating being excited about it, but when I've seen the map.
Oh, you're talking about the supervisor district?
Yes, the supervisor districts. I'm excited about that because I think it just kind of makes our districts look a lot the same. And I think it's structured where we do have more of an at-large perspective. Like we need to, really look at all the people in the county and look at it from a macro, like a 10,000-foot level. And our discussion should be around strategy for the county and where what departments do we want to grow? Where do we need to get better? I think this is going to allow for more strategic discussions, generally from an at-large perspective. I'm really excited about that. I think that we should be proud of our leaders at Warren County. I think we just have a lot of talent here. You know, when I'm in meetings, very often I'm in awe. You know, I'm in awe of Joelle. You know, I think she's just a consummate professional. I really do. I just think that we have really a lot of highly educated, really driven, really good people here at Warren County. I just feel that. I see that every day, and I think it's time for Warren County to be proud, you know, of what we do here on a daily basis. I don't think we talk about it near enough, but I see things literally every day that I'm impressed with, or that I'm just proud of, that we're a part of, you know, taking care of people and keeping people safe, and, you know, running good elections, and, you know, what we've been doing here recently. And I just see a lot of upswing. I see a lot of really positive positions. I see strong leadership, and I see, you know, a lot of cooperation going on right now. I mean, there's nothing we could call up Tom Phillips at Norwalk, or we can call up Drew at Carlisle, and they would come here and help. You know, they would work with us on things, and we haven't always had that in Warren County. You know, we haven't always had that just ability to pick up a phone, or there's always been, you know, it seems like a personnel conflict, or this entity doesn't like this entity, or it's rural versus city, or all this all this crap that doesn't really exist. I mean, I don't think there's any major divisions within Warren County and our government entities and our people that we can't overcome, and we haven't overcome. It's just getting on the same page and moving things forward. So I've just been really just unexpectedly just pretty positive, you know, pretty happy about how things are going. Like, I just feel a lot of positive feelings right now. So, but that's my report, and that's all I got.
Well, this is kind of an off week for me for extra meetings. Next week's my busy week again.
Okay.
I'll be having several major meetings with Aging Resources and CERTPA, Central Iowa Rural Transportation Policy Agency. It's all that stuff. So this week's kind of a week where, for me at least, I'm kind of taking a breath. And but next week will be a real heavy week. A lot of decisions.
That's how it rolls. I mean, that's similar to my schedule too. It's like I have so many meetings that just overlap, and then I have another day that I have no meetings at all. And it's like, why can't this spread out a little bit, you know?
Next Thursday, I'll have 3 board meetings.
You're right. I know that Thursday, and I know those board meetings.
And so it'll be a very busy time. I just want to reflect back on the dispatch discussion just for a little bit that we had the other night, the open meeting. I was impressed listening to folks. I thought that it was a very high-level type of discussion. I was very pleased to see that there was not name-calling or stuff like that involved. People were asking, I thought, responsible questions. I thought that the responses were accepted, and they were not demeaning when people were talking to each other. So I think that reiterates what you're saying, Darren, is that we can talk to each other and we can work together for a common good. And one of the things that's bothered me quite a bit, and I'll just be very open about this, after I started to learn about our EMS and 911 situations here this last year, that if there's one thing that really bothers me as a supervisor is the inequity between all the service delivery in the county. And it's not to disparage anybody, because there's a lot of very good, well-intentioned, dedicated effort that's going on. But we also, I think, need to be understanding too that there are components of our county that are in the 1950s in terms of how we are delivering services. And this EMS area is one of those areas I'm very concerned about. And I think that I feel very fortunate. I live in a community in Warren County. I have a current delivery system. But that's not the case in all of Warren County. And that bothers me tremendously. So I was so pleased to at least see or not see so much, but listen to the conversation that we had the other night relating to the dispatch. And the word professionalism came up quite a bit. And I think that's a good way to think about where we're headed. We're trying to step up our game to a more professional level so that we can, in fact, deliver those services in a meaningful and appropriate way, not for just the communities that have that extra ability, but the others as well. And so I think we're making baby steps, but we're moving forward.
Right.
And so I'm glad to see, I thought, Crystal, you in particular, I think did an excellent job summarizing where we are. And I meant that wholeheartedly when I said that the other night, because I was like, I don't have to say anything. She's already said it.
Yeah.
And so I really want to thank you for your analysis. I thought it was very well done. And
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. I think this is a very serious area. If it's something that we as a board, I think, can make a difference on, and a meaningful difference, where we're talking about saving lives, this is the place when we look at our EMS delivery systems. I hope that we can move forward in some way that allows all of our communities in the county to come together. And I think dispatch maybe is one of those things that's going to start that discussion, where if the fire chiefs can get together and start to coalesce, and then the others start to do the same type of thing, I think we can get to a higher level of service delivery. And when people start to leave their personal,
Yes.
I don't know what to call it, I don't want to use a disparaging word, but there are ways to overcome just personal agendas. Sometimes it's difficult when you step out of your comfort zone. And I think for some of our folks in our rural communities, they have taken their role so seriously for such a long time that it's hard for them to step out and understand they can be more than just what they are, or more can be done if they work with others. And I think that this dispatch is probably a good step in that direction to help people to get out of their comfort zone, because they're going to have to look at doing things in a little different way than what has been done for a long, long time. And if we can overcome some of the personalities involved, I think things will work just fine. But the bottom line is, we need to provide, I think, equal EMS service delivery across the county. You notice I didn't use equitable, I said equal.
Equal, yeah.
Because there's a difference.
Yeah.
And I live in a community, you live in a community that provides that service. But those communities are also, they're being strained by the way the system is designed right now, because they're having to go out and deliver way beyond what their capabilities are, really. They can do a certain amount of that, but they've still got an obligation to those people that are paying for that service as well in those communities. And I think we have to be very respectful of that. I think we're all probably, we're concerned about proper use of taxpayer resources. And when you think about some of our cities and our folks, everybody in the county pays county taxes. But there's also a point where some people in the cities are paying an additional amount for that extra step up, because that's what they are demanding and feel is necessary. When we can get to the point that we can deliver an equal type of arrangement for our rural folks, I think then we will have come to where we need to be.
Yeah.
That bothers me.
It's a good point.
It has really bothered me since I found out about the disparity. And unfortunately, I think people in our rural areas, they know that there's a problem. That if they are in the wrong time of day, they may not get picked up.
Yep.
We'll know exactly what the problem is. We know there's a problem there, but to get help there is going to be another issue. We have not solved that problem. We have a 1950s model that needs to be brought up to 2023.
Yep.
Good
Wow.
point.
I could not agree more.
Yeah, I
This
could not.
is such, wow. I'm so blessed to be on a board where I have other members that care for the entire county and really in sincere ways, and I appreciate that so much. Getting to the EMS, although it isn't our jurisdiction, I do feel that in order to move things forward, we're going to need to step up and bring a plan to our EMS providers and see if we can go forward with that. Again, I don't know what that looks like, but I am hopeful that we can do that together in an upcoming work session. As far as the report, I love what Darren has said. It is so refreshing to be on a board that is very positive and that we have a lot of great things going for us. I was asked by somebody to define my philosophy on going to 5, and it morphed into me just talking about what is my philosophy as a supervisor. And I think ultimately, yes, I represent the rural, but ultimately it's what's best for Warren County as a whole. That is what it really comes down to. Are you moral? Are you someone who, when closed doors are around, are you doing the things that the public would deem appropriate? Those are things that I believe a leader should be. They should be preparing others to take their stead. We're not all going to be here forever, and we need to make sure we have leaders behind us that will carry on and do even a better job than we can. So I'm very positive, very excited. I love our engineering department. I think they have focused on the right areas at the right times. I know you can't please everyone. That is a very difficult thing to do with a limited amount of and staff, but I think our secondary roads and engineering department has done very well. I would encourage people to attend the budgeting session so they could see exactly where the dollars go. Coming to the budgeting hearing is too late. You need to figure out where those dollars are going, and those dollars are being used very wisely, and I'm very, very supportive of our engineer and their staff. That being said, other great things in the county, like Darren and Mark brought up, is our communications meeting we had this past week. Very encouraging, excited that it's being formed by 28E. I believe that representation is all across the board, and potential for that professionalism that was brought up, which is so paramount to including everyone in our county. So I don't have anything further other than way to go, Warren County. I'm going to sing our kudos because I know others will be critics, but thank you very much for being a great board to serve with. Not that we're going anywhere, but thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, you know, and just kind of following up just a moment on what you just brought up with the budget. We all, I think, are understanding that this is going to be a very difficult budget season we're going into. And just from a timing perspective, so people can understand, we're going to be collecting the requests or suggestions from our various departments and offices here in the next month. And basically, we start hard in January on the budget. So for people that are out there and are having a concern or interest in where the money goes, you need to be on the docket now so that you can be ready to work with us in January when we start this process.
Yep.
March, it's all done.
That's right. For further clarification, our meetings are posted, and if there's a department that you see that is going to be coming before the board and explaining their budget, that's the meeting you need to be at. Not guaranteeing that you can answer questions, that's up to the chair, but by all means, you can come and listen, and all of the meetings are recorded, so you can always go back and listen to them as well.
Excellent. Will you put EMS on our next work session as an agenda item? Because I have some ideas about that I want to run by the board.
All right.
And let's hit this EMS thing hard.
Okay.
Like, let's really come to the next meeting with some ideas. And I know from my experience, we've had meetings with the volunteer, well, the fire chiefs in Warren County. Mostly, it's not just volunteers, it's every fire chief.
Yep.
And, I've been frustrated with this EMS thing. Like, the last time I spoke about it in a public meeting was to the fire chief saying, if you want EMS, you're going to have to come bring that to the Warren County Board of Supervisors. You have to draft, if you think it's good now and there is no problem, then don't bring anything to us. But I'm telling you, this board is committed to improving this.
Yeah.
We have money and resources to help. We'd like to be your partner, but we're not going to force this EMS. Like, we can't do it alone.
Right.
We need the fire chiefs.
Right.
And
But it doesn't seem like anybody's admitting that there's a problem, at least from the point of bringing something to the board to get things done. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that people aren't saying there's a problem. It's, we are going to have to come up with a solution because nobody else is coming up with anything. This has been March that you brought that to the fire chiefs, and I've heard nothing. I don't know if you guys have heard anything.
I've heard from Norwalk, I've heard from,
Last time, to Darren's, what he just said, I would agree, but at the same time, nothing seems to be happening.
exactly.
Right,
And when we have, professional folks here in the county that are, I think, willing to help come to some solutions, okay, let's start moving forward, but I'm not seeing anything happening at this point in time.
right,
Unfortunately, it's going to come down to money, and we're going to start to see the rubber hit the road here very shortly, especially when our larger communities that have professional services that have in the past been available for mutual aid.
yep,
I think that that's going to change dramatically here within the next year, 2 years, as their budgets get squeezed for their activity. They're not going to be able to do mutual aid
Right.
like it's been done in the past.
Yep.
So the old system of relying on the professional folks to fill those gaps, I think are going to change dramatically, or there's going to have to be more money put into the system somewhere from those areas that are not presently having professional services available.
right. So just to kind of put it down in layman's terms, what Mark is saying, when a rural person, say during the daytime, calls for service, like I live in the Lacona Fire District. So if there's no one there at Lacona to answer the call because they're at their regular 9-to-5 job, then it would go to a professional, which means a 24/7 manned post, which would be Indianola, Carlisle, or Norwalk, and even to Des Moines. And so whoever answers that call will then come down and transport the rural. So it's not fair to those other communities that have those professional services there for their taxpayers to be supplementing, providing for the rural. When the rural transport happens, they are only allowed to bill so much for that service, even though they have a lot of wages and gas and wear and tear and so forth to provide for that transport. As supervisors, our ability to help is very limited, but we can put on the ballot what's called an EMS levy. And so that is something I'm not very versed in, but I do know that it has to come from the supervisors, and we have to put it on the ballot. And if the fire chiefs are not behind it, then they're going to tell the public not to vote for it. So we as supervisors need to make sure that this isn't a top-down, but because people aren't bringing ideas to us, we're going to start throwing ideas out there, and we want some, at least I do, I want some feedback as to whether this is the way to go. Again, I don't know that much about the EMS levy, whether people can opt out or be a part of it. They have to because it's throughout Warren County. I know we have overlapping with other fire districts within Warren County with neighboring counties. So it makes sense to me that you should be able to opt out, but I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know the legal, and I have not looked into the Iowa code about it. But this is where we as a board need to come up with something. I'm grateful for this time that we're able to take because this has been on my heart for a long time. And just so grateful that you're concerned about it enough to really make this an effort.
Well, and I think part of the reason it's coming up is because everybody's being squeezed financially. So what's happened is where the goodwill from the professional services that are available in the county have been able to supplement or to do the mutual aid assistance, those paths of support are going to fade away.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be able to financially continue that. And so that means that we've either got to come up with some more money or there has to be a new system put in place to support those other areas that don't have the professional services in,
Right.
in the county. And we know right now that we have a real gap in service delivery. If you live in certain parts of the county, during certain times of the day, unfortunately, it's a good luck situation. And that's not a nice thing to say.
No.
It hurts my heart just thinking about that, because here we are, you know, we're 30 minutes from the state capitol building, and we have people that potentially will not be picked up today
Yeah.
because there's no service available for them.
Right.
And that bothers me tremendously.
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like a good project. I mean, we're in
Yeah.
total agreement on that the system needs to be improved. It's just a function of getting there, and I think your idea, Crystal, of an EMS, 9 counties, I remember reading it in the paper that 9 counties have approved an EMA levy last year.
Yep.
EMS.
No,
mhm.
or an EMS, sorry
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
okay.
Thank you for correcting me. That's exactly what, it's a big difference though, EMS, levy. So I know the counties are doing it,
And
and
there's several that are contemplating it right now.
it's a,
Great.
Yes,
Okay.
there are several. I've been paying attention to this, listening, and there are several that are actually considering, they're going through the same conversations we're having here.
Okay.
Because the same situations exist in their counties.
Excellent.
so let's hit that Tuesday of next week. Let's try to come in with, some ideas and get a plan put together and see
Okay.
what the Board of Supervisors can do to move the needle a little bit on this. Okay? All right, and we do have a 10:30 special meeting, or no, is it 11:30?
No, it's 10:30.
Okay.
10:30.
That clock hasn't been changed
Okay,
yet.
good. I thought we just lost an hour. I'm like, well, that was a great discussion. Time flew. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting so we can get into our next special meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
Before you adjourn,
Oh.
Jamie did want us to point out the cost assessment company, Ball Team.
Is who?
Ball Team.
Okay.
Ball Team. BALL and
Like
then
a ball
team.
teen hammer? Like a ball teen hammer? Okay,
Huh? Okay,
Okay.
thanks. Thanks.
all right.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snow.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you. Do you have something?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the public portion of the meeting.
Okay.
I'm gonna-
Should we reconvene?
Yeah, let's roll call back in. Hey, please come on up and state your name and your issue. Sorry about that. All right. I'll make a motion to go back into our regular meeting.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snow.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye. And I'll make a motion to go into public hearing.
Oh,
Or
well,
we don't need
you
to
just
do
public
that.
comment.
Okay, we're in the public input portion of our meeting, so please go ahead. Please state your name and your
Thank you.
address.
Charles W. Hunt. Good morning, Supervisor Snell, Mrs. McIntyre, Mr. Heater. I am blessed to live in Warren County, and it's so nice to see and visit with you and to hear all the good things that are happening. I'm the first one to say that I am a gratefully recovering Easterner. I've been in the Midwest for 45 years. I've come back to Iowa 3 times. I live on County Line Road. My front yard is the northernmost part of the county. And I'm here to speak for myself, but my concerns and thoughts do mirror those of others. But I would like to start, if I may, with a quote from author Bill Ballard. An opinion is really the lowest form of human knowledge. It requires no accountability, no understanding. The highest form of knowledge is empathy, for it requires us to suspend our egos and live in another's world. So, if I may, I moved here 28 months, my retirement homestead, a couple doors down from our friends at the County Line Tap. And I'm here specifically to share concerns. I've lived here long enough now. When I moved in, the people that now own, is it Gus and Linda's Pizza in Norwalk? Which is delicious pizza. Anyway, we're the former owners of the bar, or managers, I should say. Mr. Woods is the owner. Never had a problem with noise, never had a problem with drag racing, never had a problem with mini bike racing in my next door, until the new owners came in. The new managers, I should say. I do know that the owner increased the rent, so Gus, the people that run Norwalk Pizza, had to move out. The new folks came in, and it has been during the summer months, disruptive at times, okay? I also want to share that in addition to 22 years as a YMCA director, I was also 10 years with the Miller Brewing Company, okay? And I know every asset from bringing the kegs in, to cleaning the bar, to being a bartender, to being a wholesaler and retailer. So I understand all the idiosyncrasies, and I know the work habits. I know that there are 5 or 6 others close to me that are very frustrated that this has continued to happen, and I can only speak from my experience, but it's very disruptive. You know, we shouldn't have to have drunk drivers drag racing on Saturday night late. And may I say that I met with the lieutenant today, and he has helped share some rumors that I had heard, and I was very happy to hear that everyone is very supportive of us. And thank you, Mr. Snell, for our conversation a couple weeks ago. I know there's no ordinance, but I do think that it's appropriate that either the managers or the owner are advised that concerns by his neighbors. I'm not going to use the language that was afforded to me, but if you understand shut the front door, okay, and what they refer to as, you know what half a peace sign is? Okay, well, not the good half either, right? And go ye forth and multiply. Those are some of the comments we get when we ask to turn the music down and such. Now, I also want to compliment the Sheriff's Department. The deputy always comes up, has his decimal reader, and does due diligence, and normally, if things close, it's shut down. But also, back from my beer days, I know that sometimes, or not sometimes, when people get done closing the bar, the people that come in and crank the music back up or sit outside and smoke cigarettes and yell and scream, okay? That's not part of being a good neighbor. And I love Iowa. I've been here for, excuse me. I now run a Des Moines Food Recovery, and I serve people both in Warren and Polk County. We do food recovery. We take to schools, we take to DMAC, we take to all the pantries that are in our area and are available to serve anyone. And please share my card with anyone that is in need of nutrition. So I love Warren County. I can literally say that's the first time in a long time I could sit on my couch and not hear anything, you know, birds and such, but that's great. So it's a mess at night. Now it's better in wintertime. candidly, Mr. Snell, if you'd ever like to come up on a weekend night with the missus and you camp out at my place, I've got a big house, bring your toothbrush. But I ask for, consideration, and I know there is no ordinance, but, a stern talking to, I think would be appropriate. And I understand that this is on the ABC level of concerns. But anyway, I'm grateful for the opportunity to meet with you all. And I believe, is it the liberties we prize, the rights we shall maintain? I think I saw that on a flag somewhere. So I'm a true believer of that. I will say that I confess I am the only member of the George McGovern campaign that lives in Warren County. If you young people may
I'm
not.
too young, but
Okay.
yes, I do
Okay.
know what you're
Good.
talking about.
I want to be sure. I'm vintage. We're not old. We're vintage. So.
Okay, good.
Anyway, I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you all, and I love my home. I love my community. I just want to see the right things neighbors do. And with that, I thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I really like your quote about opinion versus empathy.
Yeah, Mr. Bill Ballard, B-A-L-L-A-R-D, is a great author. I invite you to consider him. And I do want to thank you, Mr. Snell, for pointing me out that I was reading Warren County, North Carolina's noise ordinance. I got so excited. I'm reading it, and no. I respectfully take a look, and whatever, if you may, Warren County, North Carolina has got an awesome noise ordinance.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that's applicable, but I just wanted to share that, please.
It's not a C priority for us to have, disturbing, people disturbing our peace. That's a high priority. I think you'll find that Mark Snell and our board
Yeah.
isn't going to put up, we're going to do what we can do to support you.
Thanks.
We think you should live in peace and not have that the
Absolutely,
congestion and
yeah.
noise and parties. I mean, I'm a big believer in peace and quiet. So, I think we'll try to do what we can do, but please keep in touch with us. These
Yes, sir.
things,
I sure will.
sometimes we can get them resolved for a few months and then, we don't really get a good policy in place or a good,
Sure.
something to restrict it legally, but, they may calm down and then, then
I-
they step back up. So I think it's important to continue the dialogue with Supervisor Snell because that's his,
Thank you.
and with the Board of Supervisors. I totally support everything you're trying to do and
Thank you.
I'm behind you.
Great.
Personally.
I do have one question for you. I thought
Yes,
about
sir,
this
please.
after we had talked.
Yes,
Are you within the city limits of Des Moines?
my front yard is the northernmost part of Warren County, literally. If you cross the street, you're in Polk County. If you're on the south side of the street, you're in Warren County.
I understand. That's not the question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The question is, are
Yeah.
you in the city of Des Moines?
No, sir.
So it is just Warren County up there? It's not, it is not Des Moines?
Across the street is Polk County.
And Des Moines?
Yes, sir. Okay, I have a Des Moines mailing address, but that's a
Right,
function
but
of the
you're
postal
not-
service.
You're not in the city limits?
No,
of
sir.
Des Moines?
No, I am in-
The restaurant isn't?
The restaurant, or the Barton Catan Tap is also in Warren County.
Okay, just want to make sure because.
Yes, sir.
We had talked about liquor licenses.
Mm-hmm.
And after I thought about it, if it's a liquor license renewal, depending
Mm-hmm.
upon which is the jurisdiction, it could be city of Des Moines or it could be us. So that's the only thing I
Mm-hmm. Sure.
wanted. So
No, and thank you for that, sir. And if I'm,
I thought about it afterwards that potentially,
Mm-hmm.
if that area, that little area also is in the city of Des Moines in Warren County,
Mm-hmm.
then city of Des Moines would actually be the one dealing with the
Mm-hmm.
liquor license, not us.
no, I'm pretty sure that indeed it is, you apply for the liquor license in the county where you reside. Now, I may be wrong, but all I know is their mailing address is Des Moines. But literally, when I got my license plate, I put down Polk County. They said, no, Chaz, you live in Warren County. So, albeit the northern part, but,
good
and thank you for allowing me to speak, and you will find that shyness is not one of my character flaws.
Okay.
So I will be,
Keep
I
in
will
touch with
definitely, I will be doing it, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak this morning.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sure
Yes, sir.
that Supervisor Snell told you that we are redoing our zoning ordinances right
Mm-hmm,
now in that process. I would encourage you to be actively involved in
Sure.
that.
I-
So
I-
that,
Right.
Thank you for that opportunity.
Yes.
And if I may say in parting, there's a friendly group down the road, the Farm Boys, who have an absolutely gorgeous classic car restoration business. Fantastic. There have been thousands visiting that place, and I will share candidly, they weren't talking about auto repair. Okay? And from what I understand, hate speech is not a protected right. Okay? So all I want to say is that I want to be happy. I don't want to come bug you guys. You guys got to buy ambulances, and you have to do these kind of services that are vitally needed in the community. But there are times when,
right.
our roads shouldn't be blocked, I guess I gave myself away by saying I was George McGovern campaign worker, but I voted for Chuck Grassley, Governor Reynolds. I vote for the best person on the ticket always. So
Right.
with that, I appreciate your time.
Thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
Chaz.
Yep. Have a great day. All right.
I move for adjournment.
Okay.
Okay, second.
Roll call.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peter.
Hi. We are now officially and utterly
Done with our board meeting.
done.
Okay.
All right. So where are we meeting for the special meeting?